the practice of requiring or expecting or setting expectations for your children are kind of a scary area when it comes to forgiveness, to prepare them for healthy love and relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why a lot of my mantra work, where I say I am the forgiven, I am the forgiver, is because I know that a lot of the power lies within myself. And so to consistently seek outside of myself, someone to say they're sorry is going to always lead me to feel less than what I need right in that moment. And so I think with children, we have to empower them to really see that within themselves, they can really release that, they can let that go, they can really be free of that feeling within themselves without always needing it to come from the source, because we're not going to always get that, and it might just be circumstantial, right? I mean, like when we're driving, on a highway and someone accidentally cuts you off and they don't even know that they did it. And we're holding this anger, this frustration, we're demanding in our minds that they should have raised that hand and said, I'm sorry. But if they didn't even know that it happened, you're going to be waiting a really long time, right? And same thing with our kids. Many times when they're so young and they're lacking frontal lobe, they're impulsive and they just act. They don't even know what they're doing. And so to have these long, arduous conversations about forgiveness sometimes takes away the purity and the gentleness of their nature. And they will evolve into forgiveness naturally when they can actually understand others' perspectives, which doesn't come until middle school. So when we're yelling at our kids, you need to apologize and you're going to sit here until you say you're sorry, you're just speaking a vernacular. It's not really always being placed into somewhere inside. It doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. You're never going to hear me say that. I totally believe that we should always start early. The words, you probably want to say you're sorry. And let me tell you why, because this probably hurt his feelings. I saw the way his facial expressions looked. I saw that he was sad. How do you feel about that? And you allow that conversation to kind of come back and forth versus you should feel bad for what you did, right? And it allows that shame to kind of stay over there, and the ownership and the autonomy that I have control over my own feelings really empowers kids. So yeah, it's a touchy place, because many of us parents, particularly in the spiritual revolution right now, we want our kids to be enlightened. We want our kids to be transcending all of these things, and they naturally will, but we don't have to force things on them, and we don't have to be afraid if it's not showing up. I even have children that I work with who are on the oppositional defiant spectrum, and I tell the parents all the time, don't worry. What do you mean don't worry? They're so mean and they're kicking and they're hitting and and I said, I understand. I said, but nothing ever stays the same. Everything always shifts. And if you have faith in that child and a gentle approach to them, even on that kind of spectrum, they're gonna show up for you from time to time. So absolutely.
I love that. It sounds to me like what you're saying is that both in the adult heart as well as in the children's heart, the idea of forgiveness has to be free-flowing. It can be led, empathy can be encouraged, but we can't create that. And we can't create it for somebody else. And the freedom that comes with that, I can kind of hear. And when I hear you speak of children and of peers, you have that sense about you that is just freedom. And that forgiveness, seeking it, giving it, those kinds of things really, they do lend itself just to freedom. And that's a kind of a complex, obviously, subject, but I kind of knew that you would be the one to get a good handle on this, and I was right.